Welcome back to the Pokemon League World Championship as Geeta takes on Red in the second half of 2026. For Geeta, we have Espathra, Avalugg, Chestnut, Dragapult, Glimmora, and Kingambit. For Red, it is Dragonite, Arcanine, Espeon, Raikou, Suicune, and Mega Charizard. Leading with the Glimmora for Geeta, Arcanine leads for Red. Gets the Intimidate on the Glimmora. Close combat isn't enough to take Glimmora down. Does decent damage. Arcanine has its defense's lower, power gem's not enough to take the Arcanine down, as there is a Toxic Spike set by Toxic Debris from Glimmora. There's a Ghost Spiky Shield, does nothing against the Suicune that comes in. Energy Ball is a decent hit against that Suicune. Hydro Pump does hit and does take Glimmora down, and Red will take the lead of this battle. Suicune is poisoned though by the Toxic Spike. In comes the Chestnut now. Switching into the Dragonite will avoid any damage from that Toxic Spike. And the Wood Hammer doesn't do much to the Dragon and Flying type. In comes the Dragapult now for Geeta. This Dragonite goes for the Dragon Dance. It's not enough to outspeed the Dragapult. The Citrus Berry will save the Dragonite there just about, as Outrage does take Dragapult down in one hit. In comes the Espathra now for Geeta. Red in an incredible position here, as Espathra will block the Outrage there. Switching into the Raikou now for Red with the Espathra with the speed boost up. Goes for Dazzling Gleam. Is a decent hit into the Raikou. Espathra will get even faster now. Lumina Crash will not be enough to take the Raikou down. And Shadow Ball is a good hit, but it's not enough to finish off the Espathra. And with that half special defense and the poison damage really stacking up, Lumina Crash will be enough to finish the Raikou off and finally get a knockout for Geeta here. In comes the Espeon. Is poisoned by the Toxic Spike. Shadow Ball is a decent hit into the Espeon there, but Shadow Ball right back at the Espathra does take it down. Espeon does get the special defense drop though. In comes the Chestnut. None of Geeta's Pokemon left are actually special attackers. Charizard comes in, a flying type again, avoiding the Toxic Spike. Now turning into a Dragon and Fire type there. Flare Blitz into the Chestnut does take it down from Mega Charizard. In comes the Avalugg. Avalugg not brought down to Sturdy. That physical defense really helping Avalugg take that Flare Blitz. But the recoil brings Charizard in range, and Avalanche takes it down. In comes the Dragonite. Outrage finishes Avalugg off. It is just Kingambit, which is going to get a massive boost from Supreme Overlord being the final Pokemon left. Resist the Outrage being a Steel type. And Kelsey Cleave will take the Dragonite down there. 3 Pokemon left for this Kingambit to deal with. Arcanine gets the Intimidate off. And Kingambit takes a big Raging Fury. Doesn't Terastallize. Stays into the Steel type. But does barely take the hit. And Arcanine will fall. In comes the Espeon now. Shadow Ball is enough to take Kingambit down. This battle is over. A lot of power behind that Kingambit and a weakened team for Red. But Red does hang on. Is able to maintain the lead that he's had all battle. And it's a 2 Pokemon victory over Geeta for Red, and that is a huge result right up there. Red potentially securing that playoff spot over Geeta. There is still a bit of a distance to go in this championship. This will not be the end for Geeta. There is still a chance, but Red with a massive win over a playoff contender here. And that is a very, very good result for Red for his future there. A 2 Pokemon victory over Geeta, pushing Red further into the top 4 there.